I believe you are with Mr. Mantashe. What's he telling you this morning?
I'm just going to ask the chair to come into shot. I understand he is about to address the media. Mr. Mantashe, you've been sitting through the second day of the Congress. Your thoughts?
One, we must accept the fact that delegates of the conference didn't want us to talk to them. We must just humbly accept that, hear their complaints, take them back and report to them. It's not the end of the road. I also took note of the issues that were raised by the Communist Party, and were whispering there and said, why does the party serve divorce papers in public? They must send divorce papers to us, we read them so we can respond to them. That's it, but it's fine. I wish the Congress success.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm leaving now, yes.
So a decision has been made that you will not be addressing the Congress?
No, I'm not going to. Actually, even if I must address the Congress tomorrow, I will not be here tomorrow. Okay. I was here yesterday, I was here today, I have not been given a platform, I won't grab it.
But what does that say to the alliance relationship?
It means the alliance is weak. It has weakened a great deal. We'll have to go get together and try to rebuild it.
Would you blame? Because they said you have several meetings, for instance, the Alliance Political Council, the Alliance Summit, and all have failed.
No, the alliance is an alliance of three equal partners. Okay. Three equal partners with an equal responsibility. Okay. The NC was given a responsibility to lead the alliance, which is challenged in the document called reconfiguration of the alliance. It's an issue that is under discussion. It's one of the central points of whether the NC is a leader or is the alliance a center of power. That is the issue that is discussed. So that's fine. Let's have that discussion.
Do you agree with the SACP saying that there needs to be a meeting, especially after this conference, because of what took place here yesterday? Because, like you say, that the alliance is weakened.
No, I imagine that when you file a divorce or divorce papers, you want the other partner to respond. So you invite that partner to a meeting and discuss. I think that is the status of that invitation.
Now the SACP says it's ready to contest elections, it's ready to lead. Will you back them as the ANC come 2024?
You can't back the party if the party breaks ranks. If the party breaks ranks, the ANC can't support that. We will contest. All we are going to split is the base, because the party is going to fish from the same pond where the ANC is fishing. So all it will mean that there will be a smaller ANC, a smaller Communist Party that is conducting the elections.
But the ANC as the leader of the alliance, is there any sort of intention on your part to really salvage what is left of this alliance?
No. It is the leader of three equal partners. Salvaging the alliance is the duty of all of us, is equal. But if one alliance partner says to you, yes, Gwen is here, they will remain here as a delegation. But if the party, a delegation says to you, you can't speak in our Congress, the temptation would be, okay, fine, you deprive me food in your wedding, I'm having a wedding in December, I will also deprive food. We're not going to do that. We'll allow everybody to speak in our conference in December. We're not going to be reverting back to people try to fight back. We're not going to do that. We have a conference in December. We'll invite our alliance partners. We'll allow them to speak in our conference. We'll allow them to participate in commissions as normal.
But I mean, this is a clear message from workers, Mr. Mantashe, that they are frustrated with the manner in which the ruling party has been dealing with their issues. Do you not want to address that in the least with them?
That issue can be addressed. It can be addressed in a conference. If you convert a conference into a bargaining council, you will cause serious problems. A Congress of the Federation is not a bargaining council. Issues of bargaining are addressed in the bargaining council, and the Congress is not a bargaining council. We'll address the issues, but they will be addressed in appropriate structures, not in Congress.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're leaving right now, you're not coming back. What are the discussions that are going to take place then when the Congress wraps up?
No, there will be no discussion. There's no need for that. But the delegation is there, but there's no need for it. Because if the Speaker of the ANC, irrespective of who that is not allowed to speak on day 1, on day 2, you can't say on day 3 or the last day, we are allowing the Speaker of the ANC. That will be equal to disrespect.
So have you spoken to the leadership of Cosatu to say, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back, I have not been given an opportunity to speak in the past 2 days?
The ANC has spoken to the leadership of Cosatu that some of us are now leaving. We must go and do work that can add value somewhere else rather than sitting here and internalize the fact that we are being rejected. We have appreciated that we've grown to be objects of abuse. Everywhere we go, we've accepted that. But how you manage that is a very important exercise. When you are an object of abuse, you manage that by being cool and not cause a scenery, but appreciate the fact that you have the organization's dignity that you must keep intact.
But sentiment from workers is that they've been the object of abuse by the ANC for the past couple of years now by not...
The ANC does not bargain. Okay. I think that must be corrected. There's no ANC that bargains. The bargaining is in the bargaining council where labor and government as the employer, through particular departments in government, bargain. That is not the ANC. It's a structure of government. There's a department in government called the Public Service and Administration. You know that department. That department handles collective bargaining in the state. That's why when there's a dispute with the Mineral Council, you never have that as an item on the agenda of a conference. And you never have it discussed in any structure of the federation. Actually, it's a manifestation of the dominance of public sector in the union and the demise of the proletariat section of the
Mr. Mantashe, does this not speak to the failures of the ANC-led administration to implement the increments of the workers? You're now being rejected here. In cabinet, there is no Minister of Public Service and Administration since the departure of Minister Ayanda Dlodlo. Does that not speak to your own failures?
No. A person who handles that portfolio is a minister called Tulas Nesi. I don't know if you know him. That minister handles that portfolio, and it is that portfolio that is engaging trade unions. We're expecting them to discuss issues in the bargaining council. Okay.
Mr. Mantashe, just then on a comment that was made by Soli Mapaila that those who are responsible for the rolling blackouts need to go, need to be held accountable. Essentially speaking to you, the Public Enterprises Minister and the ESCOM board, he's saying that you guys need to go.
No, but it's your confusion that eNCA always propagate, that they are confused where is the load shedding managed. I think you need to go to school and learn that. One, it is ESCOM, the entity that manages load shedding, okay? And that entity called ESCOM is in Department of Public Enterprise. It's not in the Mineral Resources and Energy. Once you understand that, you will not be confused and you will not confuse society.
Mr. Mantashe, former President Jacob Zuma in the early wee hours of this morning says it's game on between you and him for the national chair position. Are you gearing up for the contestation?
No, listen. JZ was my president for 10 years. I was his secretary general for 10 years. I take that as the biggest joke of the year, actually. You see. If the JZ at 81 wants to contest chairperson of the ANC, I take it as a joke, but I take it in a light note. I accept it.
Mr. Mantashe, back to ESCOM and back to load shedding, since you've educated me. Should the ESCOM board then resign, and should Pravin Gordhan also resign?
I think the question of the board has been announced that a change board will be announced in few days. Okay, we'll wait for that announcement. And my view is that Following that, then we can look into the operational structure of ESCOM and take a decision. Ministers are a responsibility of a president, not of another minister. I can't stand here and fire another minister. It doesn't work that way. Another lesson. It's another lesson.
Are you happy with the output in terms of how public enterprises then is managing this crisis?
I don't access other ministries. I have a ministry.
South African.
No, I have a ministry to run. I can't go out and stretch my hand and do overreach and try to assess other ministries. I don't do that as a conscious exercise on my part. Okay, as a conscious exercise on my part, I don't do that. When there are problems with ESCOM, I raise my voice. There are problems with ESCOM, I talk loud. I don't keep quiet. When Transnet is a bottleneck for coal and iron ore to reach the port, I make a big noise. That's where my powers stop.
Coming back to the issue around Cosatu and you not being able to address this Congress, earlier on speaking to Sizwe Pamla saying that they had spoken to the unions and they were saying that they're going to give you feedback in terms of, you know, the status and how the workers essentially feel about you being here and the ANC. What was the feedback you got from Cosatu in terms of you being here?
We're not going to speak today, and we're given a flip-flop promise that they will still discuss it further. Now, I think it is too much of a burden on the Federation to try to push them to allow us to speak. We've not been allowed to speak. In May Day, the President was not allowed to speak in Rustenburg. So it's not a new occasion. I think 1 year, President Zuma was not allowed to speak in Mangaung. And we've actually endured that abuse. We've continued to allow every alliance partner to speak in ANC occasions.
Then why do you let them speak at your occasions when they don't allow you to speak at their occasions?
It's because when you are a matured partner, you don't do revenge.
So we are immature.
You are immature.
We are not.
You are immature. No, you are immature if... No, you are immature if you... No, you are immature if when there are problems, you respond by saying, don't speak in our conference. We will allow everybody to speak in our conference because we are mature. I'm repeating that. That is the reality that we must internalize.
Does this not speak of the leadership crisis within the mass democratic movement across the board?
Maybe it is, but the leadership is not a leader. You know, when you draw leadership, you draw a pyramid. Okay, there are fewer at the top, more in the middle, very much more at the bottom. And that leadership of the movement cuts across the ANC, the party, and Cosatu. Now, I was talking to Bones in Sakao. I said, Bones, in your delegation, the only person I can remember is yourself and your deputy. I don't understand, I don't know many of these, because in 1985, many of the current members were not in Cosatu. They were not born others. They are now here. We have a duty to actually tell them that this federation has a history, we are part of it, and will not disown it. They can kick us out, but we are part of the history of this federation.
If you were given a chance, what were you going to say?
No, it doesn't matter. I don't need to talk to you about what the message would be in a platform. I don't need to.
Have you had a conversation with your president? Have you had a conversation with the president of the ANC?
Now, when I talk to my president, I don't report to SABC. I just talk to my president and he talks to me. I have no obligation to report to the SABC.
That's why an 81-year-old is contesting you.
Thank you very much.
Maseko, that is the latest from the Cosatu Congress, day 2, as you can see, ending with, or should I say, in the middle of lunch, we are seeing the ANC's chair, that is Mr. Gwede Mantashe, officially leaving the Congress, saying that it's been 2 days now. They've been trying to get a clear idea as to what's happening with his address, whether he'll be able to address the Congress, and he's not getting a clear answer, saying that most of these delegates are immature and that the history behind the alliance at this point is not being recognized, saying that the alliance partners at all ANC events have been given an opportunity to speak. He is clearly disappointed that the ANC is being rejected by workers here, but saying that there will be a delegation that remains. You can see him speaking now to some members from the delegates here, but officially the ANC chair Masiko is leaving and will not be returning.
Yeah. All right, Slindelo Masigane, live for us there at the second day of Cosatu's 14th National Congress. Now, we do still have